your payer. We've already talked about setting up your service. Now the next thing to do is actually run through our billing process. You can bill as often as you want within the system. You just go to the invoice section underneath financial. This invoice screen allows you to generate a list of all of the invoices available to be billed. If you leave it using the default options, the system will go out and find every single claim that can be billed and try to bill it for you. Otherwise, you can filter if you just want a subset of those claims to be generated. So let's just run it wide open. You hit submit. The system went out and found every claim that could be billed, compiled it into a list here. It's called pending claims in our system, so if you wanted to go back to it, you could always go to invoices and pending. The system automatically will notify you if there are any kind of errors that are keeping this claim from being billed. So for instance, we set the payer to require a diagnosis code, and the patient doesn't have a diagnosis code, so it's not going to let us bill. The payer requires a face-to-face document, but there's not a face-to-face document in the system, so it's not letting us bill this particular claim. So this test charger claim, though, is good for us to bill. And we can see those by filtering up here by just ones that have errors, ones that don't have any errors, ones that just have warnings. All right, so you have a lot of options available at your fingertips here. And then all you have to do is choose the claims that you want to bill, that can be billed, and hit the confirm button. And the system will automatically create those invoices for you. In this case, they're set up not to be transmitted automatically to the payer, but if they were, we would automatically transmit those claims on your behalf to your clearinghouse, and we would take you into the billed invoice screen. Okay. All right, now let's talk through the collection screen, the billed invoice screen. Our invoices, let me take you into one of those, look like this. We show you the patient name. You can click the little buttons in order to get into the details of what we build as far as your patient information, your provider information, condition and value codes, as well as diagnosis codes. We'll tell you who we billed, whether it was the patient or a third party. If there was an authorization number assigned to the claim, that would be on there, or you could see remark codes. You could get information about the primary, secondary, or tertiary payer on the claim, the terms, the date this claim was last researched, what claim form we used, the status of the claim, who it's assigned to as a collector, and then what status that claim is in from a collection perspective. If there were any charges for that particular patient during the date ranges of this claim that weren't billed, that you'll get a list of those, so you know that there are still some outstanding charges for this date range. And then we show you the individual items that were billed on this claim, along with its associated ledger balance. Let me show you some of the cool things that will help you from a collections perspective. Number one is your last research date. This allows you to control and set when your collector last looked at that particular claim or worked it. The other option is the status, which the system will set automatically if you're using an integrated clearinghouse. By default, as soon as you bill that claim in our system, we will change the status to show you that it's waiting to be submitted to the clearinghouse. Usually within about 15 minutes, we'll have that uploaded to the clearinghouse. and we will automatically change the status to show you that it's waiting on the clearinghouse to acknowledge the transmission. And the system will automatically move your claim through this process list. So it usually will get transmitted to the clearinghouse. The clearinghouse will acknowledge it. Then the clearinghouse will accept it. And then they send it on to the payer, and we'll wait for the payer to accept the invoice. Once the payer has accepted the invoice, then we're going to just wait on them to actually adjudicate or pay the claim. Once we hit that payer's payment threshold, that payer ceiling, we're going to let you know that that you're a little bit, the payer is delayed in paying that claim. Once you post a payment to the claim, we'll let you know that it's been adjudicated. But if there's a balance, that it's still not finalized. Once you've actually finalized the claim and there's no more AR, then the status will get set to finalized. There are a couple of other statuses. Obviously, if the claim is rejected by the clearinghouse or the payer, or if you need to appeal a payment decision, you have the ability to manually set those options as well. But by using this status list and then supplementing it with your own collection status attributes, you can have a really advanced collection tickler system, or a process for collecting your medical claims. We also let you attach files such as EOBs, rejection errors, collection information, as well as notes. So you can add in your collection notes here as well. And then you also have options for reprinting the claim on a red claim form, a black claim form, viewing the transmission file, or retransmitting that claim back to the insurance company. So if you needed to make a correction, you'll have that option available to you as well. Okay. And then this collection screen gives you the capability of really getting into your collections activity really quickly. It can be sorted by age or by claim status. You can also search by a number of different fields. You have several capabilities here. By default, we hide your $0 claims so that you only focus on collecting claims that have a balance. But you could filter by your claim attribute. You could filter by the age of your accounts receivables. You could filter by your collector, who the claim is assigned to. And then one of the other nice things is that as you're calling on claims, let's say like all these ones for Shamala, usually they're going to have the exact same collection issue. Maybe the payer is researching a date of birth issue or an eligibility issue. Instead of having to go into each claim individually and add a note, you can actually just click this little note button here, choose all of the claims that you want to add a note to, and click Add Note. And that'll add a collection note to all of those claims automatically. So very, very quick collection process for you. Then last thing I want to show you on the billing side is under Invoices, Responses. The system will show you file responses that get rejected by the clearinghouse. You'll see that on the status code of your claim, but this also gives you just a quick way of seeing any of the clearinghouse transmissions that had a problem, so you can quickly go into those claims and correct them and retransmit them, and then you can archive that rejection message. All right, we're down to about our last 15 minutes, so I want to run through just some other options in the software that we'll get into on our advanced training course. So just a few other things that you can look at. We do offer training courses within the system for your employees. You can set those training courses up underneath your company settings. You do have the ability to run payroll through the system. That's a course that we'll kind of offer on its own. It's fairly straightforward. You feel free to look at those, but we will need a lot more time to kind of go through that. You do have some auditing capabilities and QA capabilities within the system. You do have your incident reports